Title: The Spoiled Seed, the story of Osas. In the vibrant city of Benin lived the Nosa family, a humble and respected household of 5. Mr. Nosa, a calm and diligent man, worked as a civil servant. His wife, Mrs. Nosa, was a businesswoman. She had a big shop in the popular Oba market in the heart of Benin City. Together, they had 3 daughters: Itohon, the thoughtful firstborn; Esosa, always bubbling with laughter; and little Yua, who brought joy with her questions and songs. Though their home was simple and their lives content, a cloud lingered over Mrs. Nosa's heart, the burden of expectation. In the ears of her in-laws, her daughters were not enough. Especially from Mama Osei, her husband's mother in the village, who always whispered, "A woman who cannot give a son has not truly built a home." Mrs. Nosa tried to ignore it, but the sting of those words dug deep. For years after Yua, a miracle came: she was pregnant again. Night after night, she knelt by her bed, hands raised to the heavens. "God, give me a son. Just one boy. Let them stop laughing at me." And on a golden morning, her prayers were answered. A healthy baby boy. A son. Osas. Tears of joy flowed. Mr. Nosa held her hand and smiled. News spread like wildfire to the village. The Nosa family now has a male child. Mama Osei, proud at last, rushed to Benin the next day for Omogo. Mrs. Nosa had no mother of her own; she had long passed, so despite their differences, she welcomed Mama Osei. Finally, the family had a boy to carry the name, and Mrs. Nosa felt complete. But in that completeness, something else began to crumble. The girls, once the center of their mother's love, slowly faded to the background. The once vibrant home with mother-daughter laughter turned into a cold place of chores and commands. The nanny took over. The girls looked to their father for affection; he remained their only parent in every sense. Osas, from the moment he could crawl, was treated like royalty. He never lifted a finger to help. He never said sorry. He never heard the word no. Itohon swept the floor. Esosa washed his plates. Yua picked his toys. And when they protested, their mother would snap. "Don't raise your voice at your brother. He is a boy." Reports began to trickle in from school. Osas was a bully. He disrupted class, insulted teachers, and caused fights. But Mrs. Nosa always defended him. "He is just playful. Boys are like that." Mr. Nosa tried. Oh, how he tried. He corrected, scolded, and punished. But each time, his wife stood in the way, covering Osas like a hen shields a snake. As Osas grew into a teenager, his arrogance grew taller than the house roof. He disrespected his sisters, broke school rules, and still had his mother's full support. By the time he finished secondary school, after being expelled from 3 schools, his name was already a warning to others. Then came university, and Osas plunged even deeper. He became a cultist, never attended classes, and constantly asked for money. When Mr. Nosa denied him once, Osas caused such tension in the home that Mrs. Nosa made life unbearable for her husband. "You don't want your son to succeed. God will judge you, she said one evening. But the final blow came one dark weekend. Osas, in his usual greed, stole his father's land documents, sold the property without permission, and squandered the money on hard substances, women, and gambling. When Mr. Nosa found out, he had an heart attack. He was rushed to the hospital, but unfortunately he gave up. He died that night. The house of Mr. Nosa was visited with sorrow and was thrown into mourning. The house that once had laughter now echoed with silence. Osas never came home to mourn his death of his father. He heard the news about his father's death but was not touched nor moved. To him, the man who always questioned him and criticized him was gone, and gone for good. Mrs. Nosa called him severally. His sisters called him on phone severally, but his heart was as hard as a rock. There was no remorse, neither did he show empathy. Weeks later, Osas was arrested after a violent court clash that ended in murder. He was sentenced to prison. Right then, reality dawned on Osas that he had lived a wasted life. He cried for days because he now realized that his father died because of him. Oh, he blamed his mother. Mrs. Nosa, once the proud mother of a son, was now a shadow of herself. Her daughters, now grown and distant, could barely look her in the eye. She sat every day in the living room, clutching her husband's photo, her son's last school report, and whispered to herself, "If only I had raised him with discipline. If only I had listened to my husband. If only I had loved all my children the same." But time does not listen to if only. Moral of the story: a child raised without boundaries becomes a danger to all. Favoritism poisons the heart, and unchecked love turns into ruin. Every child deserves love, but not every action deserves approval.